Kamikaze in 5 minutes. Kamikaze appears to be a story about a pilot who turned around from a kamikaze mission where he was meant to be sacrificing himself and came home because he wanted to be with his family, and then actually was shunned by his family. It's left with the final lines at the end. Sometimes, she said, he must have wondered which had been the better way to die. The sense that his decision might be something that he regretted in his own way. However, it's important to note that, as we look here, the story is retold by his daughter talking to his grandchildren. And these ideas that she thought he must have done this show us that this is her story. It's not his at all. After all, they probably don't know what happened if no one spoke to him when he came back. So it's an invented story. So it seems to be as much about the power of storytelling as it is about anything else. The way that the fact that the story, a bit like in Emigre, the story is essentially more important than the reality, because it only affects her being left behind and her view of herself. So, what do we get? First of all, at the beginning, we get this sense that he is joining a tradition that belongs to not him, but his country. Okay? Very focused on Japanese tradition, as though this is not about him, it's about his country. He doesn't have the power that he might have elsewhere. Okay, so she imagines then, as he is flying out, him looking down as he gets to the coast, which must be about halfway there, as she says. So in other words, the last point, okay, that he could turn around if he only had enough fuel to get where he's going. And what does he see? He sees the beauty of nature, but he also sees the fact it seems to have two sides, okay, and possibly that there is a warning coming to him here. Where do we see that? Right, well, we've got the image of the fishing boats being strung out like bunting, a sense that is almost like they're out there as a celebration. Is this reminding him a celebration of life, of what he's missing, or is it like a celebration of what he's going to do? You can take it whichever way you want. It is fishing boats though, and that comes back to being what his father did and part of the story. Then we go to the fish and the translucent sea, so nothing's being hidden. What we get is we get them swimming around in a figure of 8, something that's never-ending, eternal. There's a thing there. We get the fact that they are dark, but they flash silver. Okay, so we get the two sides to them, the darkness of them and the silver they show as their bellies flash towards the sun. Again, is this suggesting there are two sides to everything that's going on? The darkness has some light to it as well, possibly. It takes him to a memory of his own youth, him and his brothers, waiting on the shore. Remember though, this is still the story of his daughter telling the story, so it's still invented by her. This image is about them waiting for their father to come home safe. Key word here, she's invented the idea that he sees the value in a father's safety. And that word safe is repeated straight afterwards as well over here to make that absolutely clear. In the story though, it's worth noting that the breakers are described as having a turbulent inrush, okay, so the sense of the chaos of nature that he has to fight against, and their attempts to find organisation by building cairns of pearl grey pebbles. But it's well worth thinking that cairns were originally representations of death. They marked graves. So there's a sense of foreshadowing potentially here, maybe that they want to escape that death. Before we come in to the fish that he brings home. Now, there's a lot can be said here about it. For many people, we get the power of nature, that the tuna is more powerful than anything else that he is doing and has more significance than him. But we've also got, alongside the power, we've got things that are small, fish that are small, fish that are large. We have different coloured fish, silver, black, cloud marked. We have the contrast between crabs, black crabs and feathery prawns next to each other. We have all life through nature, and maybe all types need to be accepted. Leaving us with the final bit here in italics, which is the reality of it, the fact that he was treated like he no longer existed, that he has lived as though he had never returned, the sense that he is erased essentially from their history. He is no longer the father we loved. He's there, but he's not that person, and that leads to the final decision there. A final contradiction here. Which had been a better way to die?